Hey everyone, it's Ryan 1940 here. Today we're taking a look at sea power naval combat in the Missile Age, and this is Mind the Gap. I'm excited for this one. This is the third mission in the linear campaign, and it is ASW focused. Essentially, 4 submarines are missing from imagery out of Polarny, and they are expected to be in the area. In fact, we just got a message from J2 level intelligence saying that there are indications and warnings of a Tango class submarine in the area preparing to shoot at U.S. forces. So let's take a look at what we got. We got Yorktown here as the leader of the Greyhound task group, and we have a SAL, which is a surface attack, search and attack unit from who's being headed by the Rogers here, yeah. So you can see we've got primarily 2 areas that we need to focus on. Let's take a look at what this contact is. Alright, I like to put markers down, not necessarily on the contact, but really close to it. The reason I don't put it on the contact is if you draw out like a range ring or something and attach it to this guy, it's useful, but when you lose contact, they will just disappear, those markers and drawings that you made. So keep that in mind. It's good enough to get us in the area, and then we'll take a look at this guy. 0 knots. Yeah, this contact's going 0 knots, 356 for the course, and the depth is 345. Alright, we're going to want to know generally what our layer is. 415 down here. What is it up here? 327. Yes, those of you guys that don't know, the layer depth changes across the map all over the place. That's a pretty neat detail, because in real life it is not a blanket thing. It generally have areas that have a layer depth and they're kind of close to each other, but they're not always exactly the same. And in fact, further away you go from different spots, then obviously the layer can change quite a bit depending on what the currents are doing and how the water is interacting with the sun. Okay, so we're going to send the helicopter out that way to go search, and then I think we want to check on everybody's sensors here. So towed array should be out below the layer. Sensors, we'll do the VDS, deploy that. Tow decoys out. So this is these chocks I want so badly on this guy. Right now on the OHP models, they still have this is where the area of the Nixie should be, and it looks like it would look like this. These kind of similar. They're probably a little taller on the frigate. Similar to that, because you got 2 Nixie fish that would be able to come out, and then the towed array would actually come out of the brass hull, which would be kind of on the port side there. Yeah, it looks kind of crazy having 2 things coming out of that chalk. Alright, we got an air contact. Let's request they identify themselves. Oh, okay. So this is the P3. And in the briefing it said that we were going to get help from a P3, so that's great, because they'll be able to cover a lot of distance. So I'm guessing they just haven't checked in yet. So iBlank makes the missions for the linear campaign, and he does a great job with the details and the realism with the way that message traffic is, and who says what to each other and what they're generally saying, or giving you realistic ways that the mission could move forward, and getting in terms of like intelligence from other assets or other institutions. So it's really cool to see. Alright, see, this guy's dropped off now, so hopefully if we get in that area we can find him. We can try out the dipper, I guess. I'm thinking we should do a I think we'll do a formation change here. It says we're generally doing a barrier patrol for the GI-UK gap. So I guess we'll close this area here. That seems to be the gist of where the ship's waypoint is going. Yeah, so I'm assuming the mission designer wants you to head that general direction. That said, I do want to probably split... I don't want to say split up, but change the formation so that... Let's just space this out quite a bit. So let's do 20 nautical miles, I guess. So Williams can be out there. Actually, Williams will be forward. And then Hart can be up forward as well. Yeah, maybe that works. The Yorktown doesn't have a tail, it just has a 53 sonar, and that's a good system, a good active system. However, when you have a passive towed array, you can pick up targets at long range. And unfortunately, this is pretty realistic. So the cruisers did eventually get TACTAS and stuff installed on them, except when they first came out, which is generally this time period of the game, they just didn't have them. If you look at old pictures of cruisers, they didn't have their brass holes, so that was something that was backfitted later on. And it's not uncommon. A lot of ships, when they come out of shipyard, they're just bare-bones ship with the normal systems on there. But the more pricier systems, like something like a towed array system, generally is installed later on during a maintenance period, and oftentimes that could go years after they've been commissioned. In fact, I think trying to remember, when I was in Hawaii, we had one of the more modern destroyers at the time. I think they were one of the Flight 2 Alphas, and I remember seeing their stern like cut open because they didn't come with a towed array, which is crazy because the Navy initially, when they made the Arleigh Burkes, the Flight 1s, they had a towed array, and they thought, okay, well, we don't need aviation because we have towed arrays to detect submarines at long range, and we can use the VLA and be able to hit a submarine contact at range. And they went up, I can't remember the whole numbers, but I think they went up into like the 70s, and eventually they said, you know, we should make a Arleigh Burke that actually does have a hangar. So then the 2 Alphas were made, and when they did that, they didn't come with tails. So they said, oh, well, we have a helicopter now, we don't need a tail. Well, it's like, well, if you have a tail, you can vector the helicopter out any which way to go kill a contact at range. And otherwise, you're just kind of having the helicopter, you know, kind of guess around. Oh, we got the check-in for the P3. Kind of guessing where the enemy should be without any prior detection. It's not fun. So when I was in Hawaii, one of those Flight 2 Alphas, I remember seeing they'd cut that stern open just to fit the towed array, because the towed array is like a massive winch, and because you can imagine like the thousands of feet of cable that need to be spooled up. So it's a huge hydraulic winch, and that was my baby. Like, that was my system. I worked on everything from including the hydraulic systems for the winches, the giant electric motors in them, all the way down to the array processing stuff and the signal conditioner units and all that kind of stuff. So all the electronics, and then obviously the display groups, the OJ452s, which were kind of the old CRT screens, like black and green colored sort of things, and that's what the operators would look at in sonar control. It was nice because if you were a towed array guy, you had exposure to a lot of different equipment, and that's kind of generally across the board in Navy technician stuff. So you are like the guy, and that thing better be working when the CO wants to use it. Okay, so Mad Fox, what are we going to do here? You know what? We'll have him go up here. Maybe we'll spit out some buoys, but we need to go figure out what this dude was. And we need to... Oh, ESM contact. What is that? So, at least multiple planes? No, it's just one. This is probably a hostile plane. We were told in the briefing that it is likely that there is going to be Soviet aviation, long-range aviation assets that will try to attack us to support their submarines breaking through. So, yeah, we just know we don't know much about it, but that's probably some sort of bomber. Alright, back to the helicopter. Yep, there we go. We want to... I think if we go down there... I can't remember what the depth was for that guy, so I guess we'll look below the layer first. I don't think I've ever seen a helicopter dip in real life. I guess that makes sense whenever ASW stuff's going down. Oh! Do you hear that? That is a whale. That's so cool. Wow. The sound is so awesome. Oh, there he is. He's just chilling. Oh man, sorry dude, you're about to get blasted with some active sonar. That is so cool. Man, I love that. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do, just to stop any confusion, is we'll just leave this marker here, and then we'll know that anytime we see something come up on our sensors, then let's go active just to verify where he's at. Sorry, dude. Let's get blasted with active. We'll call you neutral. But it doesn't matter because this is going to drop out anyways, but cool. Dipping sonar, let's not deploy it anymore. Pull that back in. The sound added for the whale thing, that is such a great detail, and I love that. Man, you guys don't know, I'm so happy that whales are in the game. It just, every time I come across them, it's fun for the mission because you kind of have to think about what you're shooting at, or you know, committing an asset to. Alright, I'm concerned that we're getting shot at and we just don't know it yet. In fact, probably space out some sonobuoys in a line ahead of test group Greyhound. These guys, we'll just bring them down to 1/3. In fact, let's also go active with these guys. Oh! And then you can go active. The Helen Keller sonar on the 56, the SQS 56 for the OHPs. Notorious things. I gotta tell you, when I was I had come from an Arleigh Burke, like one of the older ones, the Flight 1s, and going to the frigate afterwards, it was just amazing. The guys that were there, you know, they had only been on frigates, so they were genuinely happy when they would get contact at what I thought was relatively close range. But for them, it was like, this range is amazing. And I was kind of just quietly in the background, like cringing, like, oh man, this is not good. But it didn't have to be. I mean, like I said, the towed array is amazing because you can pick up things at super long range. The guy doesn't know you're listening to him. It's just overall really great. Okay, so let's make sure we're doing our job here. So I like to do this just to give me an understanding of where some units are driving in case they do drop off. 10 nautical miles, about 10.6, so We actually need to change course until we figure out what's going on here.
Turn to course 295. Hell line.
Oh. So depth of 2. I'm gonna suspect that 34 knots. What the heck? What is that? 34 knots and a depth of 2 feet. I'm confused. Do whales go that fast? I mean, the only reason I'm thinking it's a whale is because this depth is at 2 feet, and we've got our radar going. So, theoretically, 10 nautical miles, something at 2 feet if it was a submarine, it's probably like broaching, and we should pick it up with our surface search radar. Okay, we'll continue on. I don't know what this is, but unless I'm like magically picking up a torpedo that's trying to intercept us at this point. That's possible. Okay, let's go the other way.
Turn to course 06.
Kind of pass by it and see if we can pick it up on the towed array. Oh crap. We got some backfire bombers coming in. Yikes. Not good. Where are they at? Oh, we don't even have them on radar anymore. Damn. Or ESM. Alright, these guys should almost be in position. Once they do... Alright, we got the whale there. Let's put a marker down. Oh, these things are so cool. Wow, is he... Oh, that is so cool. Look at that. Man. That is really neat, and I hope this ship doesn't go smashing into its back. Where's the ship? It's on like a collision course right now. Get out of there, buddy. You better go deep. So down in San Diego, they actually have there's a business that does... Oh, is that more whale stuff over there? Yeah, it looks like it. That is so cool. Oh, you get a visual detection when they do that. That's really neat. Alright, we'll drop a marker there for this guy too. Yeah, in San Diego there was a business that it was really cool because they buy old... Yeah, that is a whale. They buy old Navy ribs, and then they go out on like whale watching tours. So San Diego, you can get blue and gray whales that come by depending on the time of year. And I think when I went, it was like blue whale season. And obviously sightings aren't guaranteed, but I think they give you your money back, or they give you another date to come back to try it out again. And the cool thing about being in a Navy rib is they're really tiny boats. So yeah, all these ships I think don't have them. But yeah, modern ships will have the ribs and stuff. And the rigid hull inflatable boats, so you kind of sit on the tube part, the inflatable part on the side, and you just kind of grab a rope that's on the inside to hold yourself in. And it's fun. And when we went out, it was cool because I used to be on the ribs quite a bit doing VBSS stuff in the Navy during kind of the early stages of global war on terrorism. Off of like Basra, Iraq, we'd have to go and search boats before they went towards the oil terminals. And so I loved it. I loved being in the small boat. And that tour was so cool because when we first got out of the San Diego Bay, we went out and it was just like I've seen in real life, or not real life, that was real life, but out in the Navy, if you look on the horizon and you see kind of a swath of like white, and it almost looks like whitewash from a wave, But you know, these whitecaps come and go, right? But if you see kind of a big wash of it, that normally is like a megapod of dolphins or a superpod. And dolphins, they can travel in small groups, but there's times where they just get into these massive pods, and they all kind of just swim around together. And there's literally like hundreds of them. And I saw something like that on the horizon. I told the rib captain, I was like, hey, I think there's like a megapod over there. And he looked at it too, and he's like, oh yeah, I think you're right. And so we headed over there, and sure enough, it was like all around you, just covered in dolphins, and we were in the middle of it, and they were coming up right along the rib because they were just kind of playing with it, and it was just really neat. We cut the throttle, got down to really slow speed, and you could stick your hand out in the water. That's how close you are when you're sitting in a rib. And it was a great time. And after that, that made my trip. And I was like, well, I don't care if I don't see a whale, because that's like everything else this was really neat. And we go northbound along the coast and towards where the whales normally are seen. And then we saw, I forgot the name of it. I think it's like a sunfish or something. It's like it kind of sails on its side. It's a really strange fish, but it's kind of rare. So we saw one of those, which was neat, and we saw a sea turtle, which to me is rare off of San Diego. I'd never really seen them. Seen a lot like down south, off of Central America. They must have been migrating because I saw hundreds of them. And then we did see the blue whale, and what was so cool about all that stuff was, obviously you got to cut your engine and you can't approach them, but if they approach you, that's fine. So we sat there, and the visuals in this game, seeing those whales come up to the surface to breathe, was really neat, because that reminded me of it. Our rib was smack dab in the middle of like 2 or 3 of them, and the noise coming from their spout is just amazing, because there's all that pressure getting the air exchanged and the water blowing out of it. It is just such a neat experience. Yeah. So anyways, back to killing submarines, hopefully not killing the whales. So this mission does authorize you in the briefing to kill any unknown undersea contacts, so you can rest assured that you're not killing any friendly submarines that must have already been deconflicted. So you still kind of have to look, though, because there are whales out in the game now, so that's really neat. You can't just go blast them. Alright, so Sal Alpha, continue on south there. You can come up in altitude. Alright, once this guy is at his waypoint, oh, there we go. I was going to say we should slow down. Once he got to that waypoint, everybody slow down so we can pick stuff up. Alright, so we got some waycombers here. What do? Let's not panic. We want to... I'm going to give everybody like individual waypoints here. So heart, obviously there's a submarine up here somewhere. So the cool thing about the waycombers is, if you can see how they're kind of leading our ship, right? So as long as our wake doesn't cross over that path, it's likely that the torpedo is not going to find us. So if we keep that in mind, if we kept going this direction, right, those torpedoes are going to intercept us somewhere down here. So I don't want to turn to the port side. I do want to turn to the starboard side. So I can hopefully coast past that and turn around before I get to that intercept point where they would cross my wake and then they would try and get me. So we'll do that, but also there's some other things we want to do first. Is 5365 torpedo is a 10.3 nautical mile weapon system. So let's do some stuff here, do some drawings. Alright, first I want to kind of draw out my course, right? Why do I want to do that? Because I want to actually see where that intercept point probably is, and then we're going to work backwards from there. We're going to go back 10.3 nautical miles. So somewhere around here. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can just go ahead and readjust this stuff here. Okay, and then we'll pull that through this torpedo. There we go. So I'm aligning the course of that torpedo to where it intersects. So if I turn the ship and we don't cross that point, it's likely they're not going to sniff out our wake. They have to pass through the wake to come back into it and sort of zigzag closer and closer to you. And that's how those torpedoes ultimately kill you. So it's unlikely that we just detected the torpedo right when it was fired. It's likely it was fired probably close to max range when the guy was just snooping on us and tracking us quietly while we were cruising at flank speed probably to get into our position there. Okay, so that's kind of good. And then it's not perfect, but that's good enough for government work. So 10.3 nautical miles, that's the range of the 5365. So if he fired at max range to get to our intercept spot, he's probably somewhere around here. Okay, so I can go ahead and launch a helicopter, and then we'll send a helicopter out to that spot. And then some other things we have to do with the Williams here is you should always fire a counterfire. So this is actually pretty good. If he's truly in that area, if we fired at max range down that torpedo's like bearing, he's probably going to get spooked and kick out a lot of noisemakers, and that's going to make it a lot easier for us to find him exactly and kill him. So this is going to work out pretty good. It is kind of scary when you get torpedoes within 2 nautical miles of you, but if you can work out the maneuvering, then it should be all right. So we fired our counterfire. We got that queued up. We're going to kick out a noisemaker, and then we're just going to go flank speed. And like I said, we'll turn starboard. If you want to control that, obviously you can just click on the waypoint, or you can also drive the ship with the ASWD commands. So we'll do that. All right, so unpause, and then we'll hit D a few times to make a starboard turn, and we'll go up to flank. Okay, so we can watch the ship come about. You see how those torpedoes are still going to that intercept spot, and we're coming around now, so we're pretty safe actually. If he was firing at max range, you generally would see. Oh, you see, we fired the torpedo, and it looks like he fired at that spot, if that's where the noisemaker came from. So this is interesting. This does line up with that torpedo shot. Let's fix this a little bit. But now, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cheat and see what it is, but that's the Tango submarine. That was in the briefing. Now what I'm doing is, because we got a better idea of where he's at, we'll come about and then we'll fire another torpedo in that area. But at the same time, we need to adjust this, because the torpedo, if it's 5365, it's going to go 10.3 nautical miles. So we just want to draw out where we know our safe area is. So come about, and then we'll fire another Mark 46 at this spot. Whoa, that was awesome. Those things are so cool. Torpedo launchers, they gotta make sure I'm watching the ship driving here. Let's give it a waypoint of just going about this way. Actually, we want to open the range with the submarine. Yeah, I'm gonna fire another one. We're well within the range of them engaging us some more, so we need to build space. But at the same time, we're kind of stuck, right? Because we cannot cross this line, or we risk being tracked by those waycombers. And at the same time, we want to get away and build space to get out of their torpedo range, right? Because they can go out 10.3 nautical miles. Okay, let's see how the helicopter's doing. All right, we have 3 torpedoes in the water now. I think we should be good, but we'll go send the helicopter out to actually track this dude really closely. Yeah, the Mark 32 triple torpedo launcher is really sweet, because there's normally like air flask things that are mounted on the bulkhead. Well, there's a holder for it, but you charge it up with compressed air, and it's got high pressure air in this like round flask thing. That's this round bit over here. So it actually comes out, it's like a big spear. So you fill that up with pressurized air, you load the torpedo, you put this in behind it, and you can manually fire it. There's like a pull thing. or you can fire it obviously from the fire control and the sonar space. When that thing goes off, we test fire it all the time, so it just sounds like a giant cannon because there's no torpedo in there, and you pull the trigger. It's just this big boom noise, and you have to test it out, obviously. You want to make sure that system's always working. So that's pretty cool. We could also fire X-torps and Rex-torps. So X-torps are exercise torpedoes, and then Rex-torps are recoverable exercise torpedoes. And those guys, the Rex-torps, you just basically fire it, and it just dumb fires into the water and just stops. It doesn't run or anything. And that's just to go through the motions of being able to fire. And then you usually send a rib out with your star swimmer, and they'll put a hoist around it, and then they'll pull it up with something like a J-bar davit, and you wash it up, and then you can reuse it. The X-torps are the ones that you can fire it, and it will go after and track stuff like it normally should. So but obviously, I think it's got safety stuff built into it, so it doesn't actually try to hit something, because you don't want, even if you're doing an exercise with a non-warhead torpedo, you don't want a giant torpedo like slamming into, say, a submarine, a friendly submarine. But yeah, it will be able to run out and actually run and drive and stuff like that. So it's really neat. I got to fire a few of those during one exercise, and they have guys out here normally. They're there just in case you pull the trigger in sonar control and it doesn't go off, so they can fire it locally. One of the guys said that the range pinger was going off, and that range pinger is like saltwater activated. We had been doing a lot of evasive maneuvers, and water was splashing into the tubes. So I warned him. I was like, dude, if that thing runs hot in the tube, like, stay the hell away from it, because the torpedo saltwater activated. So if enough water gets in the tube, it could run. And the problem with that is the Mark 46, the exhaust gas is actually cyanide gas, so it's poisonous to people. And you don't care about that when it's just in the ocean running out towards a submarine, but if it is on deck and you're next to it, you do care about that. You want to get the hell away from it. Luckily, it didn't go off. It wasn't enough salt water to trigger the engine, and we eventually fired that, so it was fine. Okay, Charlie 2 is assessed operating in the position of datum Charlie 01. Okay, so we got a couple things going on here. I'm probably going to divert Mad Fox over down this way to help Sao Alpha go after this dude. Fortunately, this is probably going to be really a manual thing for us. We can saturate it with a bunch of sonobuoys. I mean, this is a huge datum. This is probably, what, 60 miles or something? 50 miles? Yeah, 50 miles. Alright. Well, let's get cracking, I guess. Yeah, we'll just have them search through, and at the same time we'll have P3 just dump a lot of buoys here, and we'll probably launch helicopters to get in there as well to help listen to the buoys. Alright, so this is a great example of why I put that marker there. You can see we have noise, and that's probably the whale because it's near that whale marker, so we can ignore that safely. And you can see here, this torpedo still running out, so it is likely it was fired in that position. So we're looking pretty good right now with this contact, the Tango. Unfortunately, we saw kind of cheated on accident. I hit the noisemaker. I didn't mean to do that, but it doesn't matter. We don't really need to know what it is. We just need to kill it. We know it is a submarine because it fired a torpedo at us, so it's not a whale. And also, seeing the noisemakers is a great way to identify a hostile contact. Or I should say confirm a hostile contact, not you don't want to use that as like a search method. It's like checking torpedoes out to see if something's going to produce a noisemaker. Okay, so we can get rid of this stuff. I make a big mess with all these things. I'm sorry. I know some people complain about it, but I like to show you guys. Some of you probably already know these techniques because I do them in my videos all the time. But if you're new and you're watching, hopefully when you see stuff like this, it kind of helps you in your ASW scenarios, because it's not apparent that you should do stuff like that if you're brand new to the game. You don't really know what you don't know. So hopefully that helps. We'll see. You can see this probably Where's Williams? So we want to look on the port quarter. Yeah, so eventually when it gets to around there, you're going to see a water spout pop up over here when the torpedo detonates because of that max range. Alright, we'll just throw a buoy there and we'll see what happens. Alright, I think we'll come kind of this way, and then we'll just slow down. We'll get a... try and get an idea of if we've been fired at some more. Yeah, that torpedo's probably out there somewhere. Okay, no contact just yet. We'll drop below the layer. Wait, let's double check. This guy's set to above the layer, so yeah, we'll drop them below the layer. This is really neat to be able to do that. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see an explosion because that's 5.5 nautical miles away. I'm not sure how far that rendering will be game-wise. But yeah, they will detonate. So if you're kind of worried and it's torpedoes coming up your stern, if you just go flank and you see an explosion off in the distance, that's likely the torpedo that ran out of juice, pretty much. Oh, is this the guy? Alright, let's, so he's at 460, what did we say, the 460, 428, okay, so he's just underneath the layer. Yep, below the layer, yeah, we want that. I kind of, no, there we go. That's kind of annoying. I want him to, like... Oh, I just wasted a few buoys, damn it. Okay, whatever. That was frustrating. It was kind of making it disappear, and I wanted to be able to just pull and drag it around first, but I guess we're so close and zoomed in that that's about the area that it's going to launch those things at. I guess it wouldn't hurt if we turn the radar on, but we don't really need it. He's going 13 knots. Okay, that is a hostile. Alright, so... what do we do in this case, right? We see a hostile, he's coming towards us. We know he fired 5365, so we can go ahead and just pull that out. In fact, we can delete this. We'll do a different thing here. Okay, so I want to know if he's capable of firing 5365s, where's my like safe zone? Because he can fire, he could hit anything within this bubble, right? So you can see here, by doing that, I know that I need to maneuver the Yorktown out of this. Of course, this guy is driving around, so just keep that in mind. That's not going to be completely perfect, right? Oh, actually, this circle is pulled on him, so yeah, that would work. It'll move around with him. So as long as you stay out of that bubble, you're okay. Williams, you can see, is in that bubble, and they are at 6.45 nautical miles. So I want to get salvo, oops, do a salvo 2 on this guy. And I need to get the Williams out of here, because Williams can be shot at again. So we'll go flank, get him out of there. So, small active return, once again, that's probably the whale. So we'll just keep moving those things around. Let us know that we don't have to really worry. So Mad Fox is heading out to the datum to help those guys out. We'll finish killing this one, then we'll focus on that datum down there. Alright. Oh, sweet. Oh, yes, that is perfect. Please, please connect. Please connect. Oh, great. The second torpedo's homing as well. Oh, man, that is that's brutal for this guy. Oh, man, that is awesome. Never gets old. I love seeing submarines get sunk in this game. Well, he's still alive, so we do have to watch him. Sorry, that's pretty loud. Let's get away from the noisemaker. Yeah. He's what's he doing? He's coming down to a crawl there. Okay. Well, we'll keep him on station just to track. Great, that is awesome. Alright, we just need to get Mad Fox down that a ways. Classified hostile air. Oof, okay, this is not. Don't like this. Don't like this at all. Almost 500 knots, 30,000 feet essentially. 30,000 feet right there. They are probably missile carriers about to fire at us. Or if they haven't fired already. So, that's great. Okay, I think we're gonna just have to waste buoys here and search just to get something going before Mad Fox comes down here. 'Cause it's quite a trek. Yeah, it's gonna take like like 20 minutes to get down there. Oh, active return. Okay. Once again, whale marker, move that. It's a good way to manage dealing with those. Ooh, classified hostile torpedo. Oh, you said 80s. I think that these are ASW torpedoes, is that right? I'll have to look at the unit reference. Attack submarines, maybe a Tango's in this one, isn't it? Yep, there it is. Oh, it could do secondary mode of anti-surface 9.7. Alright, so as long as we stay out of the 10.3 bubble, we're okay. But like I said, this is why we draw that out, so we can, we do have an understanding of if we're safe or not. He's fired 4 at us. My goodness. Don't worry, Jack Williams. I think you're gonna make it. I could slowly also turn and. Okay. Celsius reports unknown submarine contact north of task group Greyhound at datum 01, Bravo 01. So at least 2 submarines located proceeding south-southwest. Datums Alpha 01 and Bravo 01 have been established. Okay. Alright, cool. So Tango is dead. We now have 2 datums here. Well, I think it makes sense to get the P3 up this way and actually prosecute this one. So we'll do that. We'll divert. I'm going to use buoy spacing of 5 nautical miles. Okay. And so kind of go like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, we're just, we go off that pattern, generally, looks like that. Okay, and then we'll go in between. Maybe like that. Alright, that's gonna eat up a lot of buoys, but whatever. Oh man, radar threats here. Nope. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, understandable. We know they're shooting at us, but it's gonna blow up. Alright, we're safe. There you go. So those torpedoes faded out. They probably blew up. Oh no, there's some still there. Yeah, they're kind of close. They're kind of like right over here. Alright, we can kick out a noisemaker. But we should be safe. Look at that lean. Yeah, that's a lot of fun in real life. Just come over really hard to starboard or port, and the whole ship rolls really hard. Okay. Let's slow down. What we'll do is we'll listen for T95 RT. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't do anything about him because he is 197 nautical miles away. I think the best weapon systems we have in air defense at the moment is the SM2s on Yorktown. So that's, we don't have the ER ones, we have the MRs, so those go like, what, 40 nautical miles I think it is. Let's take a look here. Yeah, 40 nautical miles. The ERs go like 80 nautical miles. And even then, we wouldn't touch that thing. So that guy's just going to hang out over there. We don't have any fighter aircraft to help us out. Okay, that one's still getting pretty close. Let's go flank. Oh, birds away. Oh, crap. Alright. Well, got some AS4 missiles coming down. Wow, it's so cool. You can see the streaks from the oh, those are the other AS missiles. Oh no, those were the SM2s. They missed. Not good. I'm in danger. Yeah, it looks like those missiles are probably up out that a ways. Damn. This is dangerous. Okay, good hit there. All right. Well, that's good. We stopped that attack. Let's slow Williams down again. See if that torpedo's dead. Yep, okay. Looks like that torpedo's dead now. So, Tango's dead. We can go ahead and get rid of this marker here, this big old circle. We could also get rid of that guy. I think that is not a whale. Must have been something I was drawing, I think, a leftover thing. Okay. So I want to go active on sonar. And we're just gonna kind of search. We'll go out past it, come back around, go through this like that, and we'll just crisscross around until we find something. I want these guys to go back into formation.
Returning to station. Returning to station. Buoy away.
Cool. I can't remember if I have a helicopter out right now. I think this guy's still up. Yeah. Okay, so we'll have him just drop the 6 sonobuoys he's got on board, and then we'll have him come back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll come back, and then we'll get contact at some point. We'll launch another helicopter. Actually, we can probably just have a helicopter up right now. Nah, we'll wait. I don't want to waste the fuel. Okay, this is probably going to be pretty slow going. This is insane how many sonobuoys are out here. It's unfortunate too, like the game can only really do an hour at a time. I wish you had the control to like delete these dudes. You see they... Oh, where's the lifetime thing? I guess you have to be connected to them to understand how much time they have left. Yeah, I wish it was a command to like just scuttle these guys that you're not using anymore, and then, you know, have these other guys that you are more interested in live a little longer. Alright, building out this pattern. Yeah, I used to love seeing the P3s when I was a kid. They were up at Barbers Point Naval Air Station up in Hawaii on Oahu. Now, well, when I was in the Navy, actually, when I was stationed out there, we had the P3s were out in Kaneohe Bay because Barbers Point by then was closed. And I remember one time we were doing an exercise with, it was supposed to be like 2 P3s, I think. And they were supposed to come out of K Bay, and I was there in the brief for the thing, and then on the debrief it was funny because the exercise was like on a Saturday, and it was a beautiful sunny day on Saturday, and the P3s just didn't show up. So we're like, what the heck? So we just, oh, some more missiles are coming inbound. Let's take a look at this. Oh man, that looks like a lot. How many missiles are coming out there? So that's like, what, 6 of them? If anybody's going to be capable of shooting those things down, it's going to be our CG, so hopefully we get them. Yeah, they are pumping out missiles. Man. Just staring at the sky waiting to see explosions. Super high altitude engagements. I was like, I don't see any explosions. We need to probably fire some more missiles. Alright, there's some over there. Looks like we got a couple. Ooh, there's some more inbound. Good hit there. This is crazy. 2 missiles left. Okay, good hit there. I think that was a second hit. Was that a second hit? No, one more still alive. Okay, good. Wow, that was that didn't seem intense, but to me it was, because if we lose this guy, I don't know what else is going to happen. If he's out and we get continual bomber attacks, then that is not great. So this is good. Oh, the hell was that? Mad Fox just doing his thing. So once the buoys are all out, we'll just have Mad Fox fly around them, because there is a 30 nautical mile limit for the connection. So you can see here it says out of range, 30 nautical miles. So you have to remember, if you're spitting out a big buoy field, you may not see contacts pass through these buoys. If you're not connected to them, you're not going to see it, right? So you want to constantly make sure your aircraft is in range of them. Of course, if you have... Oh, cool, torpedo. Torpedoes are good because it lets us know we're in the ballpark. So 6576, I think that's the torpedo that is on a Victor. Let's take a look. So we were told that there'd be Victor 2s or 3s. $65.76, so 27 nautical mile range Wakehomer. That's a little nuts. So we want to figure out who this guy's going after. It looks like so yeah, if we're tracking the course, I'm just kind of looking to see. Obviously, if they were targeting the Yorktown or the Williams, then this course wouldn't work, right? Because it's passing behind them. They'd probably pass to like some intercept point ahead, or close to being ahead. So they would intercept the wake pretty closely. So it looks like they are targeting the Heart. So we'll probably... Remember, I don't want to cross this line, so I want the Heart to come starboard and kick out a noisemaker, launch a counterfire, all that good stuff. And this is a worst case scenario if we just picked up the torpedo when it was fired at us, and that's likely not the case. It's possible though. So we'll pull out 27 nautical miles. 27 nautical miles, that's good right there. Okay, and actually let me clean this up a bit. We'll get rid of this bubble. So the other thing is, if I was to guess that this guy fired at max range at us, then he probably, if we're saying the intercept point would be like right at max range, the solution worked and he's firing at us, he could be up here. So there is a gap that we need to search. If we picked him up right when he fired, he's obviously at that spot. It's not necessarily true he did that, or that we were capable of hearing that right when it launched. Oops. Well, I guess we got to do this anyway, so I'll do that. Take care of that right now. I want to go kind of that way, yeah. So he could be here, and also if he fired at max range to get to that intercept point, which is right here, then he could be here. So he could be anywhere in between this line. So that is good. We can actually... Ooh, we'll do this. We'll drop one here, and then we got 4 active buoys, so we'll drop 4 of them out like that. And we'll have 1 extra left over for prosecution. While we do that, we'll launch Williams's helicopter. So Heart needs to come around at like flank speed. Okay, and then they need to fire a Mark 46 down that line. And they can kick out a noisemaker. Not really going to do much though, I guess, at this range. Could have waited a little longer. But yeah, the Heart should be okay. We'll slow this down. Alright, this is pretty good. So I think Mad Fox still doing his thing. If this guy detects our Mark 46, he's going to kick out noisemakers, and it's going to further kind of localize where he could be. And I expect he's going to be anywhere between here. And if he kicks out the noisemakers, perfect, because we got the helicopter coming right at him. And the helicopter does have some buoys left over, so that is good news. Alright, let's take a look at what the heck's going down with Sao Alpha. Small active return. 8 feet. Okay, I'm going to call that a whale. If I could click this thing. Oh, jeez. There we go. Alright, we'll save some buoys. Essentially, we're just going to have to go really low and just do a mad search. But we're just going around to maintain contact with the sonobuoys. We'll try and get the P3 down here, or get other air assets up from these two ships, but I want to focus on figuring out what's going on up here first. Yeah, so the story was P3 out of the K-Bay. There was 2 of them supposed to go to this exercise. Beautiful sunny day on like a Saturday. And of course, we were not happy, but we were out to sea anyway, so it's like, yeah, of course you're going to be working on Saturday. But the P3s just didn't show up, and we're like, what the heck? So we ended up doing an exercise without them. And we go to the debriefing later, and they're just like, oh yeah, there was an issue with the aircraft. And then they just made it seem like they came up with whatever gripe they could come up with just to not fly that day so that they could enjoy their time off. And I was like, you bastards, this whole ship came out to play and you guys didn't bother. I can't blame them. When it's a sunny Saturday on Oahu, you definitely don't want to be at sea on the ship doing an exercise. I was also, it's brutal when you're on the ship because you can usually see shore, like, so you see the island, and you're like, man, I wish I was there enjoying my Saturday. And I loved Hawaii when I was there. It was awesome. It was insane, our schedule though. Like, I did some calculation of it, and if you counted all the underways for the three years I was there was a period of a 24-month period, so 2 years of that, where our schedule was super intense, and we were only physically back home like 4 months out of that 24-month period. It was crazy. And we did get screwed because we had a few deployments in there, and some of those deployments got bumped up because the Port Royal at the time, if you guys ever looked this up, the Port Royal was in dry dock for a long time. And when it was out of the maintenance period, like the day that they took it out to go test it out, do some initial trials or whatever, they ran aground on a reef right outside the channel, right by the airport. Like, they drove this cruiser, like this gigantic cruiser, they drove this into like 15 feet of water and set it up on a reef, and it was stuck there. So I remember being out to sea right off the coast when that happened, and I was hearing all the stuff that was going on. And when we pulled back in, because we were just out doing like a weekly op thing for training or whatever, and we ended up so it kind of looks like he's further out this way. We ended up passing them, and they were just sat up on the reef as we pulled into the channel, and they were like 4 ocean-going tugs trying to yank this thing off the reef. Like, they were firmly planted on the reef. But because of that, they couldn't go on their deployment. Normally, like, you do a maintenance period, you do your workups, and you deploy. And they couldn't do that. They were a specialized ship at the time. Right now, BMD stuff is like it's normal for all the Aegis ships to do it. Back then, it was kind of cutting edge, and not all the ships had it. There was probably there was just a handful of them that had the capability. So our ship had it, unfortunately for us, because when that happened, we had to basically replace their slot, and so we got moved up quite a bit, and it was brutal because we had done a full deployment, then we did like a surge deployment, which was a couple of months long, like 3-4 months. Came back and they said, yeah, you guys got to go out again because the port were all screwed up. I'm like, thanks, dude. In fact, I remember the Desron, when you deploy, families like see you and stuff like that. And okay, so we can drop this sonobuoy right there. That's where the submarine's at. And we could probably cancel this. Yeah, so the Desron came on board. There's families that are waiting for you when you're going out, kind of sending you off, and they're all waiting on the pier, and you're on the ship, and you're in your lights, getting ready to get the ship underway. And the Desron came on board, got on the 1MC, which is the announcement system, and he's like, you guys are doing a great job. Ships belong at sea, sailors belong on ships. This whole spiel that they always say. Sailors belong on ships, ships belong at sea. He said that, and it's like, do you think that consoles family members that are being screwed right now because they haven't seen their loved one for the past year? And I kind of was like, this guy's out of it. And the family members on the pier, they can hear the announcement system because it was being blasted topside as well. And they all started booing this man when he came off the ship. They were just shouting and booing him. I thought some MPs were gonna have to get involved. Oh, that was nuts. Okay, this guy is running away this way. 15 knots. That's good. We kind of put pressure on him now. We got the other. Alright, we'll get our helicopter out that actually has torpedoes and a fresh load of sonobuoys. Sweet. It never gets old, man. I love seeing the 3D visuals in the game and all the interaction between the different types of units. I freaking love that. Especially multi-platform ASW is really fun. Pardon me if you guys hear the jets overhead. Like I always say, I live near a very active military airfield. And I love it. So I'm not going to edit that out. One thing I didn't love was when I was a kid, I actually lived in Guam. And we lived, Guam has Anderson Air Force Base, which is a huge bomber base. So I think they do bomber rotations. But you'd have big bomber planes come in at all hours of the night because, they often were coming from the mainland or somewhere else and flying long range. So they came in whenever they came in, and it would be 2 or 3 a.m. And our house, the Navy housing, was right on the kind of the approach path for the 2 runways. I think they've got 2 long runways, and you'd hear them at 2 or 3 in the morning, just zooming over your house at a couple hundred feet. Oh, passive contact. All right, so okay, yeah. So we'll have to do the same thing again here. We have detected. This torpedo, right, and we've got a good estimate that this was probably fired somewhere around here, right? Because the sub has been generally in this spot. We'll say that, and then we'll pull out 27 nautical miles. Okay, so we can kind of infer that the way that this pathway is, generally where that location of the submarine is, he fired this Wakehomer probably at the cruiser, because if you look through the cruisers here, this is probably the intercept point. It's past Williams already, so yeah. But this is max range, so we can just simply, at this point, we can run flank kind of this way, and if we get past this distance, we're safe, right? So, yeah, I think, well, we'll come out this way for the Williams. and won't keep them in formation together. It's just too much. Where is the other guy? Okay, he's flying out still. We still have active return.
Turn to course 220. Hell line. Turn to course.
I want to build more distance because I see him actually trying to close the heart right now, so we want to get away from that. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I have not been... Oh, he's still doing this. Buoy just drops. Well, after he drops the buoys, we'll just have him fly around the field, and that's all he'll do until he gets contact. Go every which way, back and forth, over and over and over again. Okay, cool. And then we'll focus on that datum later on. We need to get rid of this submarine first. Wow, this is going to be a long video. I am sorry if you don't like long videos, but there's quite a bit going on here, and I'm pretty methodical when I go after these submarines. Can't help it. Okay, this little dude is still over here. It's a shame we used all our DIFARs. We don't get to figure out what this guy is. He's probably a Victor based on the weapons system that we saw was consistent with the Victor, and oh, we did lose him. He's going 10 knots, so he's not really far from that buoy too. What the heck? What's going on? Oh, you know what? He's gone above the layer, so we'll want to go above the layer. You kind of see when we're fighting submarines, it's like it's this game against the ranges, right? We want to be in the range to be able to fire. We can get around that using a helicopter. We can fly over the torpedo area, but at the same time, we want to skirt that just because we want to maintain contact, and buoys aren't exactly the best thing to do that for initial detection. They're good for doing this kind of stuff, like localizing the contact and killing it after we found it. So that's basically the ASW game here in this kind of cruise around, search with your major assets. Eventually they get shot at, or you detect something on the towed arrays, and then you can send a helicopter at it and go kill it that way. Or if it's in really close range, just fire over the side like we did with the Tango. But we were within range with the frigate, so that worked out really well. Okay, let's get this guy going, and I have to now monitor this now that we have Mad Fox kind of flying around all over the place. See if they ever get a contact with the submarine. Alright, and then spit out that final one, and then we'll send them home because the other helicopter is arriving. So RTB. Okay, so this guy, I want to make sure, we want to be above the layer right now. Alright, we'll get a buoy up in front of him, and then we'll circle aft, and then we'll just fire 2 torpedoes at him. Should get him, hopefully. And once we fire the 2 torpedoes, we'll launch another helicopter out. So we'll want to keep hammering this guy with weapons, because he's got a very dangerous waycoming distance of 27 nautical miles that we need to try to avoid. Okay, there we go. Now, oh, hostile torpedo contact. Yeah, that's that guy. Okay, yeah, same thing. Kind of still going towards the cruiser. Salvo 2, and let's get astern, and then we'll fire at him. Okay, there we go. We're not messing around, are we? Oh, that's so neat. Alright, I want to see these two just fall in the water and then just be right by... Oh, you know what? We need to pause it because... Oh, nope, don't do that. They always want to just RTB right after they go Winchester, and I wish we can toggle that, because for those ASW sensor helicopters, you don't really necessarily want them to RTB immediately if they still have sonobuoys and you don't have another backup guy there. Look at this dude's Totore. This is a Victor. And hopefully he gets clobbered by those two torpedoes. Oh, he's diving. Throwing out a noisemaker. Where do those torpedoes go? Yep, we need to send out another guy. Flight deck control, launch. Alright, we can drop a passive buoy here. Okay, I think he's gone below the layer, so we'll switch this back to intermediate, or intermittent, sorry. So, those that don't know, the layer is basically, it's kind of crazy, but like the temperature of the water will stay consistent down to a certain depth, and that's your layer depth. And what causes that can be usually like the day-night cycle, like the sun just cooks the water, and so that temperature, say it keeps it really warm, and it penetrates, depending on if the sun's really bright or strong that day, then the temperature layer depth can go down to like 100, 200 feet or something, and then that's a pretty strong layer. And currents can also affect it, so like you can have, if it's like really crazy strong currents, or like there's an eddy or something, there'll be boundaries for that. And it doesn't mean that I think a lot of people think once you go under the layer you're completely safe, because that's not true. All right, I didn't want to miss this. Hello. Oh man. That other one seemed pretty far away. Oh, the other one, yeah. Oh, is it tracking now? Ooh, it might be. That's great news. Yeah, so even if you have your sonobuoys, the reason I was saying that is because if your sonobuoys are not on the same side as the submarine, don't worry. Like, if you're generally close to the submarine, as you should be when you're doing this stuff, you'll probably detect them anyways. It's not like this impenetrable boundary that makes you all stealthy once you cross it. Oh yes. And it's 2 hits. It's pretty solid. See how he does. I have had it in the past where I need to fire like 3 or 4 hits on the Victor 3 to get it to go down, but his propulsion stopped. We'll just kind of watch him to see what he does with his depth. Oh. I'll go ahead and drop a die cast right on him. Cool. This guy can stand by. Alright, he's coming to the surface. Okay, he's dead. Great. That's great. Alright, RTB. Guess we can have this helicopter fly around, although the range is not going to be great. Oh! There's noise right there. Is that a whale? Or is that a submarine? Ah, that's a whale. Give that a marker. It's a whale because it said the depth was 5 feet, and that is not going to be a submarine. If that was, we got noise up here. Okay. See, now I can focus on some other things here. It's just a lot going on dealing with aircraft and ships and submarines and torpedoes. So, got a lot of contact up there in the past, so I don't know how old that is. Oh, that was a hostile sub. Sweet. Alright, let's get ahead of it. Where's he going? He's going like 12 knots. Might be pretty far ahead. Okay, drop one there. Kind of box that area in. Get one around here. Then we can do probably just a localized like mad search around here. Let's drop some active sonobuoys out this way. Alright, I want him to just go back and forth across this area. Oh. Okay, cool. That's what we want to see. At a depth of 240. Let's go above the layer. Above the layer, yep, okay. Yeah, let's go. Let's drop an active buoy. Looks like passively, if he's going 10 knots, we've got him at like 2.4 nautical miles, so. It's a good tip is to, when you get detections, kind of keep track of what the contact's doing and what the ranges are, because then you can expect, or I've been seeing stuff that's going 10 knots, or this contact going 10 knots, I'm generally detecting it at a couple miles out. Right. I always start kind of big with the buoy spacing of 5 nautical miles, and then once you do know information like this that you've observed in your session, then you can say, okay, well, I should probably tighten up my spacing of like give a gap of a couple nautical miles if I'm always going to detect them about 2 nautical miles out. But we'll see. See what goes. Okay, got an active return. Okay, so that's a hostile. It's not a whale. We're going to go and kill it now. Actually, we'll come astern and then we'll fire the torpedoes that way. Give us a better chance. If you can help it, you're not in a rush. You can just come around that way and fire a torpedo at him. It's not the end of the world if you don't. He's still probably going to kill it, because you'll see they will react to it and they'll drop their noisemakers, and they just have a better chance of seeing your torpedo if you're firing it right in their face. If you're coming astern and you get into like their baffles, there's a chance that they're not going to see that. Fortunately, it's probably going to be hard for me to line up a stern shot because he seems to constantly be maneuvering. So I'm going to ditch that idea pretty soon and fire some torpedoes at him. Alright, it kind of worked out. If he's continuing on that course, then he might just get some torpedoes up the stern. That was kind of cool. We got a mad hit. Radar even detected him. Ooh, yes, this looks like a great shot. Oh, that's like right at his face too, so he's probably gonna kick out noisemakers if he hasn't already. And that is the Delta III SSBN. Sweet. What a crazy looking submarine. Oh yes, of course. Nice. So I think we're gonna reattack. I don't think that 2 will kill this guy. We'll go back to intermittent because his depth, I think. Oh, he's coming up to the surface. All right, that's fine. But we'll do both. Drop one right on him. Oh, the SH2 that was flying out is probably run out of gas. Yeah. Yep, he ran out of gas. That's too bad. Alright, we'll fire right in this guy's face again. Alright. Nice. Well, that's really cool. We'll get a mad hit. Yeah, we're getting a mad hit right now. I wonder if we can see him. Where is he? Oh yeah, whoa, that is so cool. Damn, I love this game. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. See if we can see P3 through the water. Now it's kind of pretty... Oh, no. Yeah, we can see him. He's right there. It's right there. He's kind of faint, but that's so cool. Man, and then we probably see the torpedoes coming right at his face. Oh, man. That is such a cool picture. Well, let's see if he comes and blows up there. Ooh, I hear the torpedoes. Oh, they don't seem to be... kind of seem to be going off in a different direction because the sub is going to be like somewhere around there. Okay, we might have to let this kind of cook a little bit. Have them eventually they'll circle around. Yeah, let's see if they'll redetect. His depth is, he's coming to the surface actually. Oh, visual. Oh, cool. There he is right there. Should be like passing over it somewhere. Oh, is that him? Hmm. Oh man, that is so neat. I wonder if I can get... Just need like finer control there. That's super cool. Yeah, I love games like this where we get this 3D world we get to look around in. It's just cool to see all these units. They're really, really awesome. I can only enjoy so much of staring at like little symbology. Okay, now I'm hoping for these torpedoes to... Yep, that's... Are they tracking? No, they don't... They seem to be having... Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was like, they seem to be having a hell of a time right now. Oh, that's awesome. Man, this guy is gonna get messed up on both sides. That's amazing. Oh, yes. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Oh, dude. That's brutal. Look at that. Two on this side, and then one right across the way, and then one hit that happened somewhere on the stern. I don't really see the visual damage for it, but yeah. She's not looking too healthy at the moment. Would not be surprised if that was it. Okay. So let's speed this up. Yep, she's sinking. There she goes. Good job, Mad Fox. You can come down and do a... Let's double the speed here. Yeah, we'll just do a bunch of like mad searches, I guess, and actually these other ships can now come down this way. They've already prosecuted those deadums up there, so they're good. No more torpedo threat. Everybody's just gonna help these guys out because they are just now getting into this datum. Right, we're gonna do this a very inefficient way, using a lot of SH2s and a lot of sonobuoys because this mission's gone on way too long. It's an hour and 30 minutes in. This is nuts. All of yous, drop your sonobuoys. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. Good. This guy, go ahead and drop sonobuoy here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. This helicopter's getting spun up. So you can see the kind of tight spacing there with the capstan and this SH2. That was one of the primary reasons you have the long haul parries, because to get the SH60 to fit on the flight deck, this would have been a big danger. So if you look at the long hauls, they kind of have a step in here, and that's where that capstan actually sits, so it's out of the way for the landing SH60s that were much larger than SH2s. Good little bit of history there. Alright, we're going to drop our sonobuoys off this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like I said, this is not the way that you should be doing this, but This is just going to take way too long. I wonder why they came to a stop like that. Interesting. What squadron is this? 24? Desron 20. I love the Desron emblems there. It's so cool. 22. Oh, these guys won't have it. They have their, what do they, can't quite remember. They have some other thing that they do. Or they're not in Desron, they call it something else. Desron 14. I can't remember the ones I was in. I was in, I think, 23. That was the one out of Hawaii at the time. I don't know if they changed it up. Hawaii used to just have, like, the Desron there be in charge of all the squadron that was there, and I think over time it changed to multiple or different ships belonging to different Desrons having a ship in Hawaii. So it was kind of interesting. For us, like when you're stationed there, you're kind of considered like forward deployed. So if stuff happens in the world, like you're one of the first ships that gets sent out, and that's kind of why when I was stationed there, we were underway a lot. Because the world is freaking nuts and stuff's always going on. Alright, I think there we go there. Delete all this stuff out, right? Because the Victor 3 is dead. We don't have to worry about these lines anymore. Do the lines if it helps you. Don't do the lines if it's not useful to you, or if you can eyeball things pretty good. But I do it a lot in my videos to just kind of help people out and learn it. But a lot of times when I'm playing, I wouldn't go that crazy like 100% of the time. It is useful though if you want to figure out like where you're actually going to be safe at running from a torpedo. So draw those lines out. Okay, please, Mad Fox, do some good work for me. I don't know what it is about the map. Sometimes I get in this state where I have to hit escape to get out of it. Yeah, there we go. I was worried about this landmass here, and if the P3 was going to have a controlled flight into terrain, so it looks like she's doing okay.
Roger, go to altitude 50.
Right, I want them to just do basically like a crazy mad search all over the place. Alright, all these helicopters will spit out their buoys. This is just a big datum. Unfortunately, we're gonna have a hard time finding it without the P3's sonobuoy loadout. So we've only got 2 and then 9 active. So 2 diefars, 9 of the active 62 die-cast buoys. I want to preserve that for when we found the submarine and we're going to kill it, and I want to keep tabs on it while I'm shooting at it. Okay, we can probably send out another helicopter. Normally I don't like to tell people to launch multiple helicopters from the same ship, kind of like you should have stuff in reserve. But the only reason I'm cool with it right now is we have the P3, so if I'm not going to be at risk of like not having the ability to shoot at the submarine, because the P3's got like 6 torpedoes left, or let's double check. 4 torpedoes left, so we're okay. We won't be in a position where I hate this. You have to give it a waypoint first for them to respond. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, cool. What a mess here. You know what? I think we'll take Underwood away to go this way, and we'll just attack it from different angles there. Alright, we got a whale. We'll mark the whale like we've been doing, so we don't freak out when we see it again. This is a big area to search. We haven't been shot at by missiles, so I wonder if something happened with that submarine or what. These guys were active with their radars, so it's not like the EM stuff wouldn't give it away. I should have been able to see that and then realize that we are hostile and fire at us. Make sure the towed arrays are out. Yeah, you can see these SH2s, they don't have a lot of fuel, so this is kind of a bad way to search. Oh, is he he's all done? Yeah, this helicopter has like unlimited range or what? Yeah, it looks like it. Holy crap. I don't see a range ring for this guy. That's pretty neat. I wonder if that's a bug or if that's just somebody did that in the mission on purpose. Oh, this is interesting. Hold on. I do have a whale marker there, and I wonder if that's the whale or if that's just, this is actually something else. We want to get the buoy in front of the guy. Actually, kind of that's good in case he turns. Drop a die cast. Oh, small active return. 480. This is probably, this could be a submarine. Alright, we can dip on this guy, and then Mad Fox can just do a mad run over this thing. So we get some contact. Oh, we can actually do that with this helicopter too. What am I doing? Yes, okay. Hostile submarine. Cool. Let's waste no time. Let's get this thing going. Where? Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Man, when I was a junior sailor, I went to Lamps banding school. And it was like a 2-day school thing where you had to learn how to pack the torpedo to mount on a helicopter so that helicopters can come to us and just grab a torpedo. Because there's a parachute pack you gotta put on there and you gotta wire it up a certain way so it pulls apart. And I hated that school because that was always a check in the box for like some training, and if you're like the guy that got the training every single time for an assessment, you were the one person that was getting assessed. Okay, good. This other torpedo having a hard time there. Well, it's kind of a good thing we split it up. Underwood is driving down towards the contact. We will want I was thinking we'll want another helicopter with a full sonobuoy loadout because the SH-3 going over there can maintain contact actively with the Dipper. But I like to just know what I'm shooting at with passive buoys. Oh man. Is this gonna happen? Nope. Going underneath it? Damn. This guy's good. Alright, Mad Fox, we want you to fire 2 torpedoes at this guy.
Engage track 7059. Salvo fire.
Yeah, we'll get the other helicopter with the full sonobuoy loadout to come down just to maintain contact, and also have torpedoes in case Mad Fox runs out of their 4 torpedoes.
Weapon away. On station.
Oh, they're really low in the water. 66 feet. I think we just flew over them. Where are they at? Oh yeah, we did. Yep, they're back that way. Yep. They're not going any speed at all, and they're at like 90 feet, so if these guys can navigate through the noisemakers, we'll be alright. Yeah, it looks like they can. Come on, finish the job, buddy. That's what I like to see. Nope, are you gonna sail right overhead? No, you got it, you got it. There we go. Alright. Oh man, that thing's gotta be done. That many hits, come on. Yep, that's over. Sweet. Good work, Commander. Sosis is reporting 4 independent implosions. Assesses all the submarines operating in the area have been neutralized. We are directed to go to Reykjavik for rest and refit. End mission. Oh boy, that was crazy. Oh. I want to go. We'll do a quick thing here. I want to see if I can pick these sailors up now. I think you used to be able to do it in the beta, but I've never played the beta, so I want to see if it's in the main game now. All right, decisive victory. No losses, no aircrew losses, which is amazing because I tend to lose them. Although there was no real way that she would lose any of these helicopters. Yeah, so that's great. We killed 4 submarines. A Delta, a Charlie, a Victor, and a Tango. Wow. Cool. It was a fun mission. Do I really want to... Actually, no I don't. I want to cancel that. There we go. Yes, so my curiosity is that I want to go pick these dudes up. I think you have to go like the lowest height. Smack these lifeboats with my mad array there. Oh, jeez. Oh, cool. Picked up survivors. Picked up survivors. Do they gotta be any more? So they need to come kind of back this way a tiny bit. It would be nice if you can kind of direct control them for this finer control. Or if there's a visual mark on the map to make it easier to put the waypoint over them. Well, that is so cool. Wow. No. See, we overshot it. Okay, picked up survivors. Cool. Just gotta go aft a tiny bit. Wow, this is neat. It's kind of funny. We didn't do it for the other survivors from those other submarine sinkings. I didn't want to pick this guy up. I guess these guys stink or what? Oh, you know what? We might be full. I think they modeled like seats or something like that, right? Oh, yeah, we're on board 26. Oh, that is so cool. So over the status, I've never seen any of this. This is really neat. Distress beacons 7, nearest 001 nautical miles. Oh man, that's so cool. So this is so cool. Like the fuel percentage and the flight time that's left. I love that. That is really neat. Yeah, these guys don't get the beacon stuff. Yeah, I was wondering if the ships would also pick up the distress beacons, but nope. Cool. Well, that was really neat to see. We got to do some rescues. I haven't ever done that. That's awesome. And then, of course, iBlank makes this great ASW focus mission. Very long mission. Sorry. I probably could have done it faster, but then I wouldn't have been explaining stuff or telling crazy stories. So, hope you guys liked it. Sorry it was so long. I just really like doing these big ASW scenarios. Kind of, it seems like task saturation at first, but I usually just kind of break it down into, you know, prosecuting one datum at a time, because you're only one person. You can only do so much clicking, and yeah, so cool. That was mission 3, Mind the Gap. We were successful. We destroyed 4 submarines, which is really cool. And we're going to go do some rest and refit. So I look forward to playing mission 4, whatever that is. And you'll see it on my channel. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. See you in the next one. Bye.